16 till the hour, we're talking with Governor Mitt Romney of Massachusetts. You know, when somebody called me from either the radio station here in Boston, which is 96.9 FM Talk, which is actually a terrific station, and apparently we do fairly well here. And they said, Governor Romney has to come on at a certain time and he has to leave at a certain time. And I said, well, it just can't possibly be. So I asked the governor, he said, oh, I'm fine. Well, you know. Did you talk to your wife and children about running for president?
I talked to my wife about coming on this show.
You know,
she said that you and I have a very similar look. I've watched you on MSNBC. When you wake up at 3 a.m. in Europe, and you turn on the TV, there's Don Imus, and it's an honor to see your eyes. I mean, you normally put that hat down, you got the big eyebrows. Of course, I trim mine, but you put your head down like that, and you got beautiful bright eyes. That blue eyes. It's
my wife and I are the only two registered Republicans who live on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, so which is another reason we don't have any friends. But so you're safe here, pretty much. So
you know what it feels like. And
what did she say?
Ann said, well, I said to her, I said, Ann, in your wildest dreams, did you ever see me going on the Don Imus show?
No, I mean about running for president.
And she said, Mitt, you weren't in my wildest dreams. But
can the governor stay till 10 o'clock?
If I just shut up and let you deliver the material, we'd be better off.
This is St. Patrick's Day. I got to put on my best stuff. My wife is as great a hero as our friend John McCain. She's got some health challenges. She rides a horse virtually every day, and for her to say, hey Mitt, go for it, run for governor, and to say, do whatever you think is right for the country. She's my hero.
Because that's really well, good for her, but that's a really different. I mean, I'm not telling you anything, obviously, but that's a whole different kind of scrutiny.
Oh. It's awful. It's almost as bad as the Boston Globe every morning. But if you can handle the Globe, you can handle anything.
It's actually one of my favorite papers.
Right, Mike?
If you were president, what would you do with Iraq now? Forget about how we got there and what happened and all that.
It's hard to forget how we got there.
I understand that, but I mean, we are where we are
now.
So.
And the answer is we shouldn't be pulling out troops in a big hurry. We should make sure that we have sufficiently trained the Iraqi security forces to maintain order in their country. We didn't do the job well enough when we took over. One of the errors we made, and that's the nature of war. You don't know what's going to happen. Some 15th century military general said, the best battle plans will be thrown out upon the first encounter with the enemy. And so we found it was a very different setting than we'd expected once we finished the period of major conflict, and we didn't put the kind of resources in place to establish stability. Well, it would be shame on us to leave the country until we'd had the opportunity to establish stability. And that's something which we're on track to do. It drives me nuts. I read a poll saying, do you think that the Iraqis are going to slip into civil war? And the American people say, 70% say yes. Well, of course they say yes when every day the news media pummels them with stories saying the Iraqis are going to slip into civil war. Do they think that we have first-hand information? No, we read it in the paper and then we regurgitate in the polls what we're told. Gentleman up there just mentioned that to me before I came in. He's waving at me. Oh. And he's absolutely right. But in this case, I think we have very good prospects for the Iraqi people to be able to secure their country and to establish a form of a democracy there. Won't be exactly like ours, of course. But it is our responsibility to leave the country in working order with a security force that's able to keep the peace.
I don't know anybody who really realistically, maybe you do, but anybody else who thinks that's going to happen. I mean, I know the president says it does, but it doesn't.
Well,
I understand.
You don't get up and walk out. If it looks like it's a challenge, as it is, you don't just turn around and say, well, we're taking off. It looks like this could be tough here. We're going. I recognize circumstances can change, but at this point there has been progress made, and there's also disturbing evidence of people attacking one another. Continues. It's been going on for years now. But you don't just say, gosh, things are tough. We better get out of here in a big hurry. You do whatever you can to stabilize the setting, to put in place the military and the security forces that can be placed there, and proceed on that basis.
Well, about a minute here. My friend Kinky Friedman is running for governor of Texas. and has a good. Why are you looking at me like that?
It's just with a name like Mitt, I have a tough time being, critical of other people's names. But Kinky and Mitt, it sounds like a great team. Kinky and Mitt in 08. Here we go.
Kinky. I think it might be better Mitt and Kinky, but he supports gay marriage on the basis that they have the right to be as miserable as we are, and that's Kinky's position. And of course, you mentioned it here in Massachusetts. Do you think the gay couples should be able to adopt children?
Well, under the law in Massachusetts, they can. And I believe each state should be able to make their own choice in that regard. Just like on the matter of abortion, I think each state should be able to make their own choice on that matter. We do that with regards to gambling. These kinds of social problems and issues are best resolved, I believe, on a federalist basis, each state making their own choice, rather than having a few men and women in robes stand up in one place in Washington and say, hey, it's the same for everybody. We're telling you what to do. I happen to think that with regards to gay marriage, that the error of the court in my state was on focusing on adult rights. They said, hey, look, if heterosexual couples can marry, then gay couples also have to be able to marry to have equal rights. But they should have focused instead on the rights of children. And I believe that each child deserves the opportunity to have a mother and a father. And that's where I think the court went wrong. You have to look at the interests of not just the adults, but also the kids.
Well, my son goes to school in Manhattan. He's 7. A couple of his classmates had 2 daddies and 2 mommies, and of course he asked us about it. He said to me, he said, they seem fine to me. He says, but one of them has a very pretty mommy, and her other mommy is not so great. So. But that was his only observation. Now, maybe he'll change his mind. Well, you've been charming, Governor. Your material is a lot better than the people we're paying a fortune to write for me. And thank you very much for doing this, and good luck.
Thanks, Tom. Very kind.
Governor Mitt